underneath Tim Lankford, you know, one thing that you want to do is create an audience. And a great way to create an audience is to get your name on that leaderboard, because people want to work with people that are doing something. And one of the things that has kept me in the business so long, Tim, is the value of what we do. The value. You know, what is insurance? I mean, insurance, I mean, people buy homeowners insurance, car insurance, phone insurance. Heck, you can buy insurance for your cat and your dog. But what we provide is really peace of mind. And, you know, you probably remember, Tim, where we came from before. You probably heard the expression pom-pom.
Yes, I sure have.
Plenty of money and peace of mind. And that's really what we provide, guys, is plenty of money and peace of mind. You know, life insurance, yeah, everybody knows they need it, but not everybody has it. Why? Because maybe they haven't talked to an agent yet. And one of the reasons why I've been so successful in the insurance business is I had a great teacher, Tim, and he told me that, look, you might be the first and the last agent to ever visit with that person, so do your best. You know, he told me that features told and benefits sold. So make sure that you talk about the features of the product and the benefits to the client. Okay?
Absolutely.
So Tim, I'm going to shut up just there for a second. You know, I told you how long I've been in the business. I've told you about my family and why I'm excited. I want to go where you want me to go now.
My goodness, my friend, you could keep going. That's what I wanted people to be able to hear. Why I feel such an affinity. My wife said that's a real word, guys, so I believe her. But that's why I feel such a man crush to you and so many of our other speakers that we have on these Friday calls. It's because of your passion that you. It's more than just money. It's more than just saying, here's my golden ring, and I'm going to go and be able to show everybody the golden ring that I have. No, it's about how many people can I touch? How many lives can I make a difference in? If you could emphasize a little bit more on, you brought up the simplified issue. Why do we go on to, I had a conference call with a large agency yesterday that several of them we just kept on reiterating of, well, you know, it's going to be much cheaper though if we just go over here to the fully underwritten. And it just seemed like it was almost going up to against a brick wall saying, but you're still only getting 50% or less of your people approved. Are you doing the right thing? Would you mind addressing that and maybe help people understand why we emphasize so much on the simplified issue side of the business?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, first of all, I know we have a bunch of guys on here and we have a bunch of ladies. And Tim, I'm honored that you have a man crush with me. You know, I heard you call me lovely earlier. People ask me, am I pulling the Benjamin Button? Am I getting younger? And I feel that I am. You know, when you start making money, guys, everything else becomes funny. You know, 90% of the world's problems that are out there are related to money. So I'm going to encourage y'all to put the hammer down and listen to Tim. If Tim's asking you to get on the phone and make calls, if he's asking you to do simplified issue, it's for a reason. It's because the end result is going to be a paycheck. But the first thing that we've got to do, if you were taking notes here today, you go, what is our number one item that we're trying to do when we're with a client? Well, I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. So if you were taking notes or you don't have notes, go get a notepad, and I want you to write this down. Number one, our job is to protect the client. Protect the client. You know, when Tim was saying he talked to an agency yesterday and they kept talking about, you know, getting coverage for cheaper, you know what I thought of, Tim, is it sounds like nails on a chalkboard. Have any of y'all ever heard of nails on a chalkboard or heard it? Man, I tell you what, it makes you cringe. It makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. And believe me, I don't have any hair on my head, so that's all I got is hair on the back of my neck. So I know what I'm talking about here, folks. You know, as Tim was saying this, it's like nails on a chalkboard. Let me tell you this. There's agents right now that call people on the phone. They never see the people. They send a nurse out to the home, and they do this all day long and do not care whether that person gets turned down because they're working the law of large numbers, and they're just trying to sling mud on the wall hoping that people will get approved. Well, that is doing a disservice for the client. It is not protecting the client, hoping that they'll pass a physical. Let me just share something with you real quick. How many of y'all, you know, you're sitting there right now, when's the last time you went to the doctor? Answer that to yourselves, okay? When's the last time you went? Okay, some of you it's been 6 months, some of you it's been a year, some of it might have been 5 years, okay? Well, the minute you put a client in a fully underwritten situation, a nurse is going to come out to their house, they're going to pull blood, they're going to collect urine, they're going to do body measurements, and they're going to send it off to the lab. Well, an insurance physical is more detailed than the physical that you get at the doctor's office, because the blood work alone, there's numerous tests that they do on the blood, and they're looking for a reason to not insure the client. I had a gentleman 5 years ago that I wrote in Mobile. He had just got a DOT physical, and he insisted, and I say insisted because I don't even talk about fully underwritten. He said, I don't mind doing a physical. I want to do that because I can get a cheaper rate. Well, here's what happened to him, Tim. This was 5 years ago, okay? He got a note from the insurance company telling him to go to the doctor. Well, when he went to the doctor, you know what they told him he had? They said he had elevated PSA levels, which indicated prostate cancer.
Ouch.
So he had just got a DOT physical. He got it every year. But when he got the insurance physical, I'm not saying the DOT physical missed it, but he didn't think he had cancer. Let me just say that. And now it's a good thing. Hey, because he had the lab work done from the insurance company, he found out that he had prostate cancer or PSA levels, okay? But guess what that did? That knocked him out of the ability to be able to get the insurance, and he can't qualify for the simplified issue now because he's jacked up. Now it's on his record. So if you want to do number one, protect the client, the number two thing you don't want to do is put them in a fully underwritten product because you don't know what's going on inside their body. My son's, okay, I have a friend, okay, that I spoke to yesterday. They went in for a physical, okay, and for ladies, y'all have to get certain physicals done for y'all, pap smears and things like that. Their blood count, the white cell blood count was 13,000. They immediately called him, told him to come in. They tested again. Now it's 21,000. The day before they thought they were fine. Now they're going to the oncologist today. And this person's 42 years young. My buddy at church, who's in his 50s, his name's Don, he had a lump appear on his backside 4 months ago. Now it's 6 inches wide. He has a tumor, malignant tumor, and he has to go to MD Anderson next week to start chemo. And this guy is an engineer drafting buildings. His whole life is on halt. Well, here's the thing I'm telling you. People have things that are going on in their body that they're unaware of. So if you put them into a physical to try to get insurance, now they have to cry twice. Cry once because they have a physical problem, and cry again because they can't get insurance because when they die, their family's going to be stuck. So when we talk about simplified issue, it's not because we're trying to charge people a higher rate. It's because, write this down, we're trying to put the risk on the insurance company, not the risk on the client. You see, these insurance companies like Mutual of Omaha, do y'all write Mutual of Omaha, Tim Lankford?
Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, our four top ones are Phoenix, Move, AmAm, and Foresters.
Okay, am I talking too fast, Tim?
No. Your passion's coming through.
Okay. All right, so guys, ladies, the number one thing I want you to be able to do is protect your clients. If you protect the clients, you're going to get paid. So it's a byproduct of doing the right thing. So, yeah, you know when you're watching TV and you see that commercial pop up, hey, get $500,000 of coverage for $30 a month. Well, let me just tell you something. The people that get that rate are an Olympic athlete. Okay, that's not the norm. If you just walk around and walk through the mall, most people have overhangeth of the gut. Okay, they've got those mushroom figures. Okay, they don't qualify for $30, $40 premiums. Okay, and they got stuff going on in their body like Big Macs, quarter pounders. Okay, and they've got high cholesterol, diabetes, and they can't qualify for those extreme rates. So the simplified issue product was designed, for example, by Mutual of Omaha. You can get up to $400,000 of coverage and never go through a physical. Here's what I tell people. Say, look, I know you want $1 million, buddy. That's perfect. I'd love to get you $1 million. But right now you're walking around with $10,000, or you've got $50,000 on the job that you're renting. Because when you leave the job, you're going to leave your insurance. Let's apply for a plan that I feel that you'll have a better shot getting. And then if you want to apply for more coverage, let's do fully underwritten then. But let's get a plan in place first. So in the event, if you got turned down on the fully underwritten, it doesn't limit you to be able to get the simplified issue. So what I try to do is position it to people where it makes sense. I tell them about the person that I can tell you, Tim, right now, since 2007, I've been focused on simplified issue, and I can count on one hand how many applications that I've put up fully underwritten. And I can count on 2 fingers how many of them got approved in the last, since 2007. Okay? And I'm telling you, I don't go that way anymore. And yeah, I can get somebody dirt cheap insurance, and they may look healthy, but if they're not walking around with 100, 200, 300, 400,000 already, I definitely don't go that route because I'm doing them a disservice. And guess what? They're not mad at the insurance company. They're mad at you when they get turned down. And you getting back in there to writing something else like a guaranteed issue product, but guess what? They get mad at you. And here's the other thing. Fully underwritten takes so long to get approved. In some cases, I've seen policies take 90 days to find out that they're turned down anyways because the doctor sits on their duff and won't get the APS statement out, their attending physician statement. And then I've seen people wait 60 days to find out that the rate you quoted them now has to be increased because the person's too heavy or they got elevated triglycerides or whatever. Now, I know y'all think I must be a physician because I'm spouting off things to you, but I've read so many applications that when I speak in a home, I speak with more intelligence than I had 12 years ago, okay? So you need to ask the people the health questions. You need to do number one, hey, now, Tim, let me ask you a question. Are your guys and ladies knocking on doors or are they working leads?
We've got most of, I'll say, 95% working leads. The only time that they're really knocking doors when I'm suggesting to, if you can't get a hold of them on the phone.
Okay. So look, all right, everyone. Number two, okay? If you're a working lead, you owe it to the client to get them what they're asking for. They want protection. So number one was to protect them. Number two is you want to get them the protection. Okay, and you're like, man, this is pretty simple. Yeah, keep it simple. Okay, if they filled out a lead, that means they've raised their hand out of all the other Americans in America and they said, hey, bring me some information on insurance. Okay, number three, show them how to get it. That's what your job is to do, not show them how to get the cheap insurance because remember, cheap and good doesn't necessarily go together, does it? Cheap and good doesn't go together. I've bought cheap tools before and they break on me in the middle of trying to work on my car or try to work on my house. So I invest a little bit more in the tools to get a quality tool. Well, guess what? Yeah, you might be able to save $5 over here, Joe, but what if you get turned down? That $5 now costs your family $100, $200, $300,000. So how much did that $5 really save you? It didn't save you anything. And guess what? Most of these clients are not insurance agents, so they're looking for you to make the proper recommendation. Okay, it's your job. You're the professional. And look, I don't mean to sound like I'm yelling at y'all. Okay, that's not my goal. My goal is to hammer this into your brain that fully underwritten is a pathway to destruction. And I know those are some hard words, but if you're looking to be here for the long haul with Gordon Marketing and Tim Lankford, you need to learn to embrace the simplified issue model. Quit trying to get people stuff cheap and good and flush that out your brain, okay? And look, Tim, I'm just going to go ahead and say this. This is bold, but it's going to make sense, okay? If any one of you are on this line right now and you don't have what you're selling, you need to get a policy on yourself, okay? And I'm going to give you an example. If you're at a Ford dealership and you're looking at brand new Ford cars and the salesman says, hey, I've been selling Fords for the last 20 years, and then you see when he goes on brakes and he gets in his Chevy Silverado, that should make you wonder a minute. What is he not telling you about the Ford F-150 that you're looking at or the Ford Harley-Davidson Edition, you know, the car you're looking at, okay? You know, so you need to own what you're selling. And when you own what you're selling, when you make recommendations to folks, you can say, hey, this is what my wife and my family did. We chose the returner premium product. We chose the 30-year term, the 25-year term. We chose this. We chose that. You can't say that if you don't actually have it. And when the person tells you they got to think about it, if you've done the same thing too, thinking about it yourself, guess what you'll do? Oh, okay. And you're going to walk out the door. So it makes sense to own what you're selling, number one. And number two, you can speak with a level of passion because when the person tells you they want to think about it, you can say, you know what, my wife and I used to think about it too, but once we got the policy, we now have peace of mind. When we go through an intersection, if someone was to come through the intersection at the exact same time and take us out, our kids are not going to be stuck. Okay? I talk about death a lot of times, but I also talk about the peace of mind. Okay?
Perfect. Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
Perfect.
Tim, I hope that hammered that fully underwritten, but I get fired up when because I've seen so many agents go broke doing that, and I would hate for any one of your team to not know this, and you don't know what you don't know. So, guys, I don't know it all, but I've been doing it 12 years, so I've got 12 years of experience under my belt, which means I've seen a lot of agents go through the pipeline, and the guys that do the fully underwritten are not here today most of the time, Tim.
100% agree. Couldn't agree with you more, my friend. On which I think everyone can tell when Richard steps in a home. Again, why you hear the success stories from Josh Sivak, from Alexander Joyce last week with Zach Rawson to Chris Lewis to Aaron Croft to Richard. The core ingredient that you're hearing, I pray that you're hearing come through from all of us, is that we're connecting with the clients, that we're bleeding on the clients, not asking them to bleed for their insurance. Okay, remember, hopefully you remember that many times I've shared. You are bleeding on your clients. You're getting with them, down there, right there in the valley that they're at, and connecting with them. Are there little things that you do, little transitions that you make from just the initial time that you meet with somebody, Richard, to make that connection with the person that you're sitting down trying to help?
Well, what I do, Tim, is I pull out a nice 8x10 glossy of you,
Yeah,
and I put it in
I knew
front of
it. I knew it.
them, okay? And I say, look, I'm not a paid actor, but I do work with Tim Lankford at Gordon Marketing, and whenever you purchase a policy from me, it helps support Tim, and look at that smile.
I owe you
And
lunch. Okay.
yeah, go stuff. No, so y'all are like, okay, yeah, right. Well, just go ahead and ask Tim for his 8x10 glossy, and he'll get it to you, I guarantee you. So here's the thing. I'm just kidding. So y'all are like, okay, get on with it. All right. So what do we do to connect with a client? Well, the first thing, number one, is be genuine. Okay. Y'all might have heard in the sales world, there's an expression, fake it till you make it. Well, that expression works when, you don't have to know everything in order to make money in this business. Okay. So if you're waiting to get your Harvard degree in the insurance world, you're going to starve and go broke. Okay. Because I still haven't learned it all. Okay. You don't have to know every little in and out, but just basically understand how insurance works, okay? But be genuine. Make sure, when you're doing your warm-up, that you're actually looking the people in the eye. Don't be checking out the lady if you're a dude in the house and you're checking out the guy's wife instead of talking to the dude. You got to be conscientious of what you're doing. I know you're like, this is like no-brainer stuff, but really, I've seen people, Tim, they do a great presentation, but they don't take time and do the warm-up and really connect with the client,
Right.
okay? And how long does it take to do a warm-up? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's different for every person, but on average, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I try to spend 10 to 15 minutes doing, warm-up, talking about everything else other than insurance, okay? Now, have I went in a house and warmed up in 3 to 5 minutes and made a sale? Absolutely. Have I warmed up in 7 minutes? And have I been in houses where I've had to warm up for 30 minutes because they're telling me all their problems? Oh, yeah. But my average goal is to spend about 10 or 15 minutes just talking about everything else except insurance, okay? And then from there, I transition and say, now listen, folks, you see what I do for a living. What do you do for a living? And I talk about what they do, and then I start to tell them who I am. I'm Richard Reyes. I work here in the Pensacola area. I handle Escambia County, Santa Rosa County. I'm a field underwriter with the company. The reason why I'm here is you sent in a request about mortgage protection. Let me ask you a question. What was on your mind when you sent in this request? The key to that statement is then you do these two things. I know I tell my kids not to say it, but I'm going to tell you this. You got to shut up. When you ask a question, you've got to shut up and listen to what they say. I've
Amen.
seen a lot of great salespeople, Tim. They sound like the Micro Machine Man. You remember the Micro Machine Man on the commercial?
Oh yeah.
And then a lot of times they think they're an infomercial. Well, the reason why the infomercial does what it does is because you can't respond to the TV, okay, other than picking up the phone and call into order. Well, when you're in a house, you're not in an infomercial type setting. You need to ask a question and then practice shutting up and listening. Remember, the person that asks the questions is the one that's in control. But if you're asking the questions and then answering them for the client, like when you say to a client, Tim, hey, this makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, of course it makes sense. Now, the reason why you need to do it, you never heard them say if they even are buying into what you're saying. So one thing that helps me, Tim, is when I ask a question, I listen to what they're saying, and it tells me if they're buying into the concepts that I'm sharing with them. And if they're not buying in, I need to know so that way I can go back over it again or I know what to do next. Now, I want to say one thing, Tim. I was just impressed to say this. I was listening to your leaderboard. For all of you folks that are doing 1, 2, 3 apps a week, do you want to know what the difference is between doing 1 to 3 apps to doing 5 to 8 apps? Here's the difference. is just a few more appointments. A few more appointments. If you want the recipe to success in this business, you need to make it a non-negotiable that you're going to have 10 appointments every week. You put 10 appointments on your calendar every week, Tim, in a 2 to 3 day stretch, there's no way you can fail in this business. Now, I know there's people on this call that may do 15 appointments a week, and hey, my hat's off to you. But to maintain that level, you need, number one, a lot of leads, okay? But I know that right now, if you're brand new getting started with Gordon Marketing, the first metric that you should get to is get to where you're setting 5 to 7 appointments a week. 5 to 7. And then once you get there, ask Tim, hey, what do I got to do to get up to 10? And then he's going to tell you, he's going to look at your numbers. How many times are you getting on the phone? When are you setting your appointments? And then get to 10. If you can get 10 appointments on the books, 70% of those appointments will stick, and you'll be sitting down with 7 folks. If you're just an average closer, closing 30 to 40%, you're going to write a couple deals. But if you're a 50% closer, we're talking about 3.5 sales to 4 homes getting sold every single week. And then imagine as your skills get crafted, you become a 70 to 80% closer. Now you're closing 5 to 6 homes every single week off of running 10 appointments a week, 70% hold rate, 70 to 80% closing rate. And I know there's been times that it seems like there was nobody that would tell me no. I would go for weeks at a time. It was just yes, 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 yes. And then I'd have a week where the next 7 appointments were no, 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 no. But then after that, once I got through the no's, it was all yes, 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 yes. And I'm telling you all that not because I'm the golden guy out there. Listen, I'm a bald-headed Puerto Rican. I've got to smile a lot because I look like a convict if I don't smile. Okay, my wife has got beautiful locks of hair. She smiles and flips her hair, and people roll over and buy. You know, I'm telling you, you got to smile because it's your billboard on your face, and guess what? It's free to light up your billboard, and be genuine. I know that was a long-winded answer, Tim, but the secret to success in this business is activity. Activity breeds results, and you got to have activity on the phone, and you got to have activity in the field. If you don't have activity in the field, it's directly related to how much activity you're putting on the phone. That makes sense, Tim?
My goodness, wouldn't change a single word of that, Richard. That was absolutely perfect. Are there any key transitions or anything when you're trying to move from rapport to, let's say, getting involved with the application? Anything that you'd share, saying, hey, make sure that you're doing this to lock down the next step?
Oh, perfect. Yeah, you asked about transitions, and you know, I wasn't disregarding that question. I just got rolling into how to make money.
I like the way you roll.
All right, so look, I'm going to tell y'all, you know, let's just say over the last 2 years, okay? In the last 2 years, I can tell you I haven't had too many people tell me, hey, Richard, we're ready to buy it. Let's sign me up. Here's how it works. When I'm doing the presentation, I'm asking them these questions. Hey, does this make sense? When's the best time to put this coverage in force? How long have you been thinking about it? Would you like to experience the same peace of mind that my wife and I experienced? If your wife was to die today, what kind of situation would that put you in financially? If your husband was to die today? And then when they're giving me their answers and I'm showing them the stuff, I ask them this. In the event of both of y'all's death, who would you want the money to be paid to? As soon as they tell me that, I'm writing down the contingent beneficiary on the application, and I begin writing the application. Okay? In the event of both of y'all passing away, who do you want the money to be paid to? And they're going to say, my son, my mom, my dad, my brother. And guess what? Here's what you say. And how do you spell their name? And you look down at the application, and you fill it out. Now, in order to do that, you have to have applications with you, Tim, and you got to have a pen. You got to have it out ready to go. If you're waiting for people to stop you and say, Tim, everything you've said has made so much sense. Do you want this to come out of my bank account? How many policies can I apply for? If you're waiting for that, it's not going to happen, okay? Now, I'm not going to say it never will happen. I've had people, you know, basically ask me, hey, I'm ready to sign up, and I get scared because I'm going to tell you why. They've either got a health problem or they're going to lapse on me, okay? Everyone that I've done business with, I do not sell them a policy, Tim. All I do is help them apply.
Nice.
Okay? And here's the thing I want to tell y'all. Another transition statement you can say, rather than say, in the event of your death, who would you like the money to get paid to? Here's another one. You have the choice, Tim, of allowing your bank to pay the company, which day would you like to choose it on? You got the choice from the 1st through the 28th. If you tell me a day, Tim, you say, hey, I wanted to come out on the 10th. What did you just tell me, Tim?
That's when your EFT is going to hit.
Boom. So I start filling out,
Done.
and I start writing up the application. Okay? Or I'll use this question. When would you like your coverage to go into effect?
Perfect.
That's another transition statement. I've done this before, and I hadn't even showed them a price. Okay? Price is one of the last things I show people, because look, the price of not having it is way more expensive than any number I'm going to write down on a piece of paper. And then here's your last transition statement. Okay, let's say you've done all the stuff, and they ask you, how much does it cost? Okay, how much is this going to cost me? All right. Well, when I hear that, okay, there's two things that go through my mind. Okay, number one, they're ready to put some ink on paper. They're ready to buy. Okay. But I don't start salivating in the mouth, and I definitely don't let them see that I'm getting excited. So here's what I do. I use a piece of paper, okay? Now, I have some quoting sheets, and I can do it super professional, but a lot of times I'm doing business on a yellow legal pad. And I'll write down normally 3 prices on a piece of paper, or I'll write down at least 2. And I write down, hey, here's how much a $200,000 is with return of premium. Here's how much $150,000 is with return of premium. And I spin it around. And I say, hey, this is what this is what this is, which one's the most comfortable for you? So they've got 2 choices, or they've got 3 choices. And then when they're looking at it, they say, this one right here. I give them the pen, and I say, here, circle that for me. And we're doing the application.
Perfect.
That's called a choice close. Okay, rather than say this, hey, would you like to go ahead and apply for the coverage? That's a yes or no question, and guess what? You don't know what they're going to say. If I give them 2 choices, hey, you can get this for $89 a month or this for $59 a month, which one's the most comfortable for you? What they're going to say is they're going to make a choice most of the time. If not, what they'll say is, well, neither one of these are comfortable. Or they're going to say, well, I really need to think about it. And what they're telling me is either A, I haven't showed them enough value in making a decision, or B, the $89 or $59 is too much for them, and all I got to do is make an adjustment. Okay, so those are a few transition statements that are tried and true that work. I know a lot of you can understand that I do not have my graduate degree in English. I speak like the common man, the common folk, and you know, some of you are more eloquent speakers than I am. However, I keep it real with folks, and I don't try to sound like I'm something that I'm not. And so when I ask, I smile and just wait to hear what they say and then move on.
Perfect, perfect. For just a couple questions, and you've been so generous with your time, and we'll let I try to end this somewhere between 35 and 45 minutes, but I can't yet. If you've got a few more minutes to hit you up with a couple more questions.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's up to you and your team. If they haven't all hung up yet, I'll talk. It's fine. I don't mind. You know, listen, guys, the reason we do this is, you know, hey, if I can help y'all make more sales, you know what? It helps you. It keeps you on the team. It helps Tim. You know, I don't get anything out of this. Tim's not paying me anything, but what I get out of it is a friend and someone that's going to help me and talk to my team. And as Tim has alluded to y'all on the phone, is that we are going to be introducing a program through Tim, and I can't wait for y'all to hear about it. But we need y'all selling in order to even participate in that program. So it's a win. It's a win-win for us all. So I'm here, Tim.
And we'll address that for about 30 seconds because I've already got a half a dozen questions, 2 or 3 questions now saying, hey, sign me up for the federal. Guys, as I said earlier, we're not ready yet, but Richard's going to give us a little bit of a commercial. It may still be another 30 days out or so, but yeah, Richard and I are excited about some of the things that's already happening. Doug Boyd's asking, when you find a client who's not being I think you've already addressed this, that it's really because of price. But Doug was asking, when potential clients seem non-committal or just seeing what the price is, how do you handle that meeting?
Like if they're shopping it?
Exactly, or they're just trying to get a feel if they even want this.
All right, so then what you got to do is when somebody says, hey, I just want to get a price, hey, say, hey, no problem. Hey, the reason I'm here today is to get you that information so you can make a decision. But let me ask you a question. If the price was right, are you ready to go ahead and put coverage in force?
Perfect. Perfect. I like it.
That helps me figure out, are they just really shopping, or do they have 5 other agents that are coming out, or are they ready to do something if the price is right? If they say, nah, I'm just shopping around, I'm really thinking about it, say, well, let me ask you a question. If you didn't do something today and you were to pass away, what kind of situation would that leave Judy in right here? And I make it real. I bring it right back home to him.
Excellent. Excellent. And hopefully, as everyone's been hearing from me, sharing from my heart of saying, if somebody is shopping and within 15 minutes, remember guys, within 15 minutes, you're getting that approval, because that's all we've got approved to be able to visit with somebody on the phone. Hey, just need 15 minutes, going to roll this out to you, and let's see if this is something that's going to fit for your family. Within 15 minutes, you're asking for that commitment. Remember, in my 6 sales steps to close, that first close is at that 15-minute mark. Without going into that, but real briefly, share what we're doing with the federal employee market.
All right, I will. Tim, can I just say one thing about what you just said about the, and I'll handle the federal real fast. The part about if someone's shopping it.
Absolutely.
Here's what you should hear when somebody says, hey, I'm just shopping it around. That means they're looking to buy insurance.
There you go.
That's what it means. So all you got to do is help them, okay? And when somebody says, we think about all major decisions, then you help them think about it. Say, well, you obviously have been thinking about it already before I got here because you sent in the request. Excellent. So what have you been thinking? Get them to talk about it.
And you've been thinking about it since close, and that's probably been 30 or 45 days. How much more time do you need to think about it?
That's right. Hey, listen, why don't we let the insurance company think about whether they're going to approve you or not? So while you're thinking about it, your application's in, and once they approve you, we'll go over the approval.
Excellent. Excellent.
So, all right. So, hey, listen, I love closing, guys, but I can't do any closing unless I'm in front of people. So that's the way you get good, is get in front of a lot of people. And if you miss a few sales, hey, that's okay. You're not going to be fired from the program. Just keep rolling. So, all right, federal program, here's the deal. I don't know what Tim wants me to tell you, because I'm telling you what, when I first found out about this program, I couldn't sleep at night, okay? So I'm going to try to dull it down, make it not sound exciting. Okay, because I want y'all to be able to rest tonight this weekend. But I'm going to tell you a little bit. Here's the deal. There's 4.3 million federal employees that are out there that need our help. And we've come up with a lead system where we're marketing and helping federal employees from the VA to Social Security to Post Office, FBI, NASA, IRS, just to name a few. And what we do is we help federal employees make smart decisions in preparing for retirement. And all the products that we've been talking about here today, simplified issue, we use them in the federal. Annuities, we use them in the federal. IUL, we use it in the federal. So all of the training you're getting right now is positioning you to get ready. If you want to do some federal, guess what? You're going to be a prime candidate for the program. We help federal employees transition from when they're truly federal to not federal anymore. We help them with their life insurance decisions, some of their health decisions, and also retirement situations such as annuities. Okay, we have a marketing system where we generate requests from federal employees that are raising their hands, much like the mortgage protection, where they're saying, hey, I have questions about X, Y, and Z, come help me. Okay, the type of people that we're going to be introducing this into to roll out with Gordon Marketing with Tim are going to be people, number one, that are genuine, number two, that are not people that are just looking for hog deals. They're looking to really help the client. Those are the people that are best suited for the federal program, Tim, because over half the workforce in the federal government is going to be retiring over the next 3 to 5 years. There's a large transition of money that's going to be occurring here in the workforce in the next 3 to 5 years. And then you've got a large influx of new candidates that are being hired into the federal government. So we've got new people coming in, old people going out. We've got retirement planning happening in the beginning, retirement planning happening in the middle, and retirement planning happening at the end. I just helped a 41-year veteran of the post office help her with her retirement, and guess what? She was loving it. And after 41 years of being with the post office, you know what she told me, Tim?
What's that?
Nobody has ever sat down with me and explained my benefits the way you did here today. And she's been there for 41 years as the postmaster.
Ouch.
Okay? And what I've experienced in 7 different states that I've worked in personally selling, that all federal employees have the same situation. They don't understand their benefits, and when we sit down with them, they're smiling and they say, hey, you need to go talk to this person. You need to go talk to this person. The referral plethora is amazing. So I'm going to shut up right there, because if I started telling you about the money that's available here in the federal, that's where you're not going to sleep. But just know this, there's a real opportunity coming. Here's how we're rolling it out, just so you know. We're rolling it out with some exclusive agents with Tim right now, okay? And then we're going to have some opportunity come open. Now, obviously, Tim controls that door, but we're looking at a March, April timeframe. There's a little bit of training involved, and I'm going to tell you this. We need you to be making money now, so when you're in the training, you're not starving, because we need you to be making money. Am I right, Tim?
Absolutely. Very, very well said.
Yep.
My friend, wow, have you more than come through for me, for us. God is going to continue to richly bless you. This has been fabulous. Absolutely appreciate you. Got
Oh, no
another
problem.
several questions that I'm going to answer offline, and definitely looking forward to helping you in any way that we can. Um,
No
Yes,
problem.
please take note on the federal program that you heard. We'll roll that out in good timing. But what you've got in front of you, let's make this work for you. Let me see your numbers. Let me see that. Hey, look, I can build a substantial business by running mortgage protection leads, and that will open the door for everything. I'm writing federal market. I'm writing federal employees from a mortgage protection lead. Yeah, for 2 appointments on a federal lead from a mortgage protection lead. Yeah, I made in excess, looks like about $5,000. Focus on your mortgage protection, and we'll use this as a platform just to help you create more revenue sources. Guys, focus in on Tuesday. We're talking about trying to set your eyes for something. Every Tuesday you can connect on a training webinar, and it's beyond just mortgage protection, because mortgage protection, you do IUL sales, single premium whole lives, annuity sales. This next week we're going to really focus in on final expense, because you can find final expense through mortgage protection, especially when it's not mortgage pay off everything protection, but you're looking for a payment protection. So looks like Alan Bowles will be able to do some live phone calls with us over the phone of setting appointments. You don't want to miss next Tuesday, 11 a.m. Look for that invite to go out to either today or tomorrow, and a reminder going out on Monday. But make sure that you set your time and your computer. You want to be in front of a computer, especially for that one on Tuesday. Three things I emphasize every time I close out these calls and these webinars is to be an agent, just like Richard is here, be an agent who's making it happen. And I always emphasize, be an agent who makes it happen with your income. And if you're going to be an agent who's making it happen, you will make a tremendous blessing on your family. And the first two that I just shared with you always is taken care of by number three. If you will become an agent who's making it happen for a family that you're sitting with, you will automatically be taken care of the first two. Folks, again, thank you for your attention on this. This has been a blessing to be able to be a part of this with you. And our life and annuity on March 10th, you do not want to miss that. And go make it happen for a family this weekend. Many blessings. God bless you guys. Appreciate and love and honor you guys.